Hi, and welcome to the Leaders Edge, our weekly live interview show where Georgia Donaldson and I, Emily Chua, feature successful CEOs and professionals who are so kind to share their stories with us. We want to bring you awareness, inspiration, and leadership tips for you to action to help you sharpen your competitive advantage and make a positive impact in your organization and community. Remember, if you are watching us live, you can comment on LinkedIn if you want to ask a question for us to answer on the show. Our topic this week is building tomorrow's leaders today. And before we bring on our wonderful guest, Samanta Saugh, who Georgia will properly introduce in a second, I want you to consider and bring to your awareness your own response on a couple of questions. Maybe when we speak with Samantha, we learn more about her views on this subject too. The first question is, what do you think is your most important responsibility as a leader? And the second question is, what is a legacy you're creating with your leadership practices of today? While you ponder those, I'll invite Georgia to introduce Samantha and let her lead off the discussion with one of her stories of leadership that impacted her.
Hey, thank you so much, Emily. Good morning. Samantha, good morning and welcome to the Leaders Edge. This is our regular Monday morning get together, our lime on a Monday morning. So we're so happy to have you. Folks, it's a pleasure to introduce Samantha. And saying it's a pleasure, it's almost a cliche. Samantha, it's a true delight to have you on the show today. For those of you who are watching or you're going to catch us on the replay and you've never met Samantha, let me tell you a little bit about her. So Samantha's career spans over 20 years in management. No, don't let her looks fool you. Yes, over 20 years. And that's mainly in the financial services sector. And she has extensive experience in leading the finance function, in addition to her experience in the life, the health, and the pensions operations. Samantha has also held positions as Vice President, Finance at Guardian Life of the Caribbean Limited, and also as Interim Group Chief Financial Officer. So, drum roll, everybody. Guess what her position is now? She's President of Guardian Life of the Caribbean Limited. Yes, Samantha, we are so proud of you. So, Samantha, you must have been the product of mentors and coaches or people who saw something in you. Tell us your story about your journey and, maybe someone who saw something in you and how have you also now been paying that forward?
Good morning, Georgia. Good morning, Emily, and to all our viewers. Thank you for having me here this morning. Yes, I think throughout my career, I have been fortunate to have persons that have looked out for me, if I put it that way, and have mentored me in some form and given me opportunities. I think the biggest part of it all was they challenged me to be better than I was,
Mhm.
and they allowed me the opportunities to just go out and explore. Be the best version of yourself because that's when you step out of your comfort zone
Yes.
and you are able to truly see your potential. And there are many persons who would have done that for me along the way, including Robert Sovereign, Richard Young, Anya Schnorr. I really do think I have been privileged to interact with these individuals and build a relationship with them, one that they felt comfortable with to challenge me and give me the opportunities and the freedom to be me, step
Yeah.
out of the zone.
So we celebrate those people.
We
We
Yes.
do.
celebrate.
And it's so good, when you can look back and celebrate the people who have given you a little platform. So, Samantha, you have gotten that platform. What are you doing for the people who report to you?
I am paying it back.
Ah,
So I do believe that in order, as part of a leader, one of our main roles is ensuring we work with our teams and help them step out of their comfort zone. Stepping
mhm,
out of your comfort zone is one way of seeing how you deal with challenges
mhm.
and getting yourselves ready for the next step. Without doing that, you will never know. You're not testing yourselves and you do not know what is in the realm of possible. How do I do that? And that's pretty simple. I'm not one that believes that you sit on top and you just give out instructions.
Mhm.
I get involved. with the teams. I am part of the projects. I am part of the collaboration. I am part of the brainstorming and the coming together to make that decision of, which path we're going to take. And through the process, we're talking, we're sharing ideas, and we're collaborating, and the right path evolves. And it's not a one man decision, it is a group decision that comes to light that we're all comfortable with. You don't have to worry about whether there is buy-in or support, and sharing that information and doing a whole lot of change management, because the ideas came from the teams themselves that were part of the project.
I
Mhm.
remember when we were talking, Samantha, you told me there was a particular project. Was this when you now started off, or when you took over or became president at Guardian? That was like really, really challenging for the team and really tested.
Some
There, there
long, long hours.
there are many, but I think this one in particular it was overwhelming. It was
Yeah,
huge. Timelines are tight with any project, as you can imagine, and they're not changing as much as we would like them to change. They're not. A timeline is a timeline, and especially when you're in finance, I mean, the finance persons will totally understand that.
yeah. You have like
Mhm.
We're backed
audits,
up.
and you're regulated. So you're in
Yeah,
finance and you're a regulated entity. You have audit. You have different things that
I
have to be
know.
delivered.
Great world to be in. So we're really backed up, and we have this really tight on deadline to deal with, and some really problematic matters that's flowing through. And every time you think you've made 2 steps forward, something pops up, and you feel like it pushed you 10 steps back.
Mhm.
Um, but you know what? We came together as a team. There were a lot of new persons. We were all learning. We were trying to figure this out together. And it wasn't just, sitting back and saying to the team, we'll just get it done.
Mhm.
It was part of a learning curve. So we all rolled up our sleeves, so to speak, and
Mhm.
we sat down. I turned my office into a bit of a war room, if you called it that. And we all sat around the table, whiteboards, just trying different things, pitching ideas out. There was some light moments, fun times. There was some frustrating times, but after all of the long hours, we found a pathway, and it wasn't my pathway or someone else's pathway. It was our pathway, that
Mhm.
got us to the end and was able to deliver. At one point in time, we were doubting ourselves, but somebody has to keep the faith, and that's part about being a leader. Um,
Mhm.
Always finding the way to motivate and keep the team going. And one way of doing that easy is when they're seeing that you're there with them. So you're pulling them forward when they feel like all is lost.
Mhm.
That's something that goes with leadership. Sometimes you really just need to go through the tough and hold
Yes.
the team and pull them together and just keep pulling forward when everybody else thinks it's lost. Um, and sometimes it turns around, because there were other times that same team when I felt lost, they pulled me.
Excellent.
That's what being a team is about. That's what
Mhm.
being a leader is about. You may not be the leader all the time. Just because you sit in a leadership role, at least that's my view.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that you have to have all the right answers.
That's so
You
true.
have to have the
Yes.
right team with you. Sometimes you lead, and sometimes they lead you.
Of course, of course. No, that's an excellent response, Samantha, because I've heard leaders, Emily and I, we coach leaders. And some of the challenges they come to us with is, yeah, I remember one leader saying, I'm not supposed to be in the trenches with them. What would your response be to that leader?
The trenches is where you need to be sometimes,
Mhm.
because that's where a leader demonstrates that I am with you, I'm with the team, we're in
Mhm.
this together. It's not me versus you. We're working towards one objective, one
Yeah.
team, one goal. And yeah, sometimes it requires you to go back and being in the trenches, or the weeds as we call it. And
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with that. It shows that you're human. It shows that you're part of something that's bigger than yourself, bigger than your title.
Mhm.
um, and it's all about working this through together. I
Yes.
know different leaders have different views, but for me, it's all about the relationship building, the people, and getting to that end point. Um,
Mhm.
being a leader doesn't mean that you've been there, done that, have worked through the trenches. Now it's your turn. Being a leader means that you're always setting the example. You're
Right.
always going to be that one person that they look up to. And sometimes you need to come down and be with them to keep that motivation and momentum going. Times are changing, our workforce is changing. And so you're no longer
Oh,
Oh
we
no.
lost her. I hope she will come
Yes.
back
Just,
soon.
just as she was giving us some goodies.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
yeah,
Sorry.
but the point Samantha is making, and it's so true, Emily. You know, sometimes leaders, because we ascend to the lofty heights, we believe that we can no longer go where the employees are and work with them and help them. And we're not saying that you need to stay there as a leader. We're saying that you need to be in touch with what's happening.
I think, yeah, I think it's the balance, and that's where I was going with
Yes.
the next question is for her to explain how she finds that balance
Yes.
between being with the team and in the trenches, but
Mhm.
also being, and there are times, I suppose, like
Of course.
a time to do that and a time that you have to step back, be strategic, and look,
Yes.
take the
Yes.
higher view,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, so
Because
I'm
you
thinking,
remember she was talking about that particular project and they
yes,
were working some very long
yeah,
hours. Can
yeah.
you imagine as a leader, they had to be working all these long hours, 40, 50, 60 hours per week. And then she was nowhere to be found?
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
no, it would
So,
not have happened. It would not. I don't think it would have happened.
right. Yeah.
Especially because it was new to all of
Right.
them, herself
Mhm.
included. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's so important. I don't know if
yeah.
she's going to be able to come back
She
on.
is back. She is back. I'm just gonna
Okay.
put her back on.
Ah,
Hi, Sam.
No,
hi,
Are
I'm
you
there,
so
totally
sorry. I
dropped
do
off?
not know what happened. Oh my
I
goodness.
don't know. It's fine though. You're here.
Samantha,
So
we thought that you were going in the trenches.
Believe it or not, I sometimes like to go into the trenches. It makes you feel
Yes.
alive and part
Yes.
of
yeah,
something that's
Yes.
bigger
yeah.
than
What,
you.
what what Emily was saying when you came off is that, the balance. Talk to us about how you find that balance, because yes, sometimes you go in the trenches and then you have to be also at the strategic level. How do you find that balance?
I look at it's a lot of prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
So what is important now? So everybody has like the 80-20 rule, or however they prioritize.
Yes.
I mean, everything that we're doing, we're going to know what's the level of importance that goes with it, and the
Right.
timelines. In our space, sometimes everything is needed at the same time, but certain things carry different a higher weighting. So
Right.
it depends on what it is. And so if the decision is made is huge, if the investment is huge, capital allocation, depending on what it is, then you
Mm-hmm.
know the level of effort that you have to push through to get this project up and running, or whatever the deliverable is. And so you do what you have to do uh,
Yes.
to get us through there. So these deciding which one it is and when to step into the trenches. And sometimes you don't really have to step into the trenches, but it does require you to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Sometimes all the team needs is an opportunity to just speak out, or vent, as they sometimes call it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to say anything. Sometimes I
right.
find I don't say anything at all, because they will say it out loud. They
Yeah.
look at your facial expression and they're like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I think I have it." And then they will tell you what they're thinking. It's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea." And then there are other times, you really do have to ask some probing questions. I
Right.
tend not to give the answers, because I am developing you
Right.
for the next step. So
Yeah.
I tend to listen, and I tend to ask questions,
Mm-hmm.
guide you into coming up with the responses yourself, or the solution to the issue.
Yeah,
Yes.
Emily, she's a leader as a coach. We
We
need to
love that.
we
Oh,
need
I
to
don't
recruit.
want to put the coaching part, but okay.
Yes, we need to recruit you, Samantha. That's what we do as coaches. We listen. Most of what we do is listen.
Yes.
Yes.
And ask questions.
And ask the question. Ask the question.
Curious, curious questions, so that
Yeah.
people
Question.
could explore for themselves
Yes.
their responses. So
So what
Samantha,
what do we
sorry,
want to leave people with? Yeah, go ahead, Emily.
yeah. So I was gonna kind of sum up a bit. So I mean, people, relationships, building trust, being in the trenches, knowing when to step back, helping, not giving answers,
Mm-hmm.
asking questions, listening. Those are some of the tips that you have in terms of how you are working to build tomorrow's leaders today. Is there anything that I missed that you feel important, maybe a takeaway or something special you feel like the audience may want? Or sometimes you just let people take away whatever piece, whatever nugget they feel makes sense to them. But I mean, like, yeah, as you are here sharing with us, is anything that you feel might be something you want to leave with them?
Two perspectives. So, one from the leader's point of view, I mean, our role is pretty simple. You give the teams the right tools to do their job, and that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Coaching and mentoring, which, as you guys have pretty figured out, is kind of borderline on leadership. Just being there, listening, give feedback, and reward the team.
Mm-hmm.
This new generation, it's not the same as 2 decades ago where you have persons come in entry level and they're loyal with you and they're going to be there throughout. This new
Mm-hmm.
generation is different, and you need to take the time to understand your teams. You give the feedback and you reward, and it has to be timely, because if it's not timely, you lose the essence of it. So for
Yeah.
leaders or aspiring leaders out there, I would like to encourage you to do that more. Um, and setting your teams up for success. And not because you're a leader means that you get to delegate all the time. Go sit with them, interact with them, help them along the way, take them out their comfort zone and challenge them when you know you can, because that's when they'll know their true potential and spread their wings and fly. And you'll be very proud of what you were able to guide them into thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, on the flip side, for those who would like to be aspiring leaders, trust yourself, consider it an investment. Sometimes we tend to look and think of things like, what's in it for me? Is there more compensation or anything else? Those things will come. Just
Mm-hmm.
trust yourself, invest in yourself in terms of time, have a change mindset. Not everything has a dollar sign at the end of it in that moment. But it does come. The rewards do come. Be open minded,
Mm-hmm.
raise your hand and ask questions, and just pick up the opportunity to learn more, exercise curiosity, uh,
Yes.
and just always challenge yourself to do something different. If you're doing the same thing day in, day out, you're not learning. If you are continuously talking about the successes of the past, you are not creating new successes, so you're not doing anything differently. um, so, on the flip side, for the individuals who don't even know if they want to be leaders or aspiring, just think of it as being a better version of yourself and go out there. And the world is your playing field. Just play, have fun, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
it's for the two sides. There's
Yeah.
always two sides to a coin. So, you look at both.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Emily,
absolutely.
I don't think there's anything else we can say.
No, I don't think so. I think if
Yeah.
people listen carefully to what
Mm-hmm.
Samantha said, there are lots of nuggets there. And, like what she said just now, the two sides of the coin. I mean, I think of leadership as personal. So whether
Mm-hmm.
you have a team to lead, you're leading yourself, right? You're
Yes.
leading your family. How you conduct yourself talks about your mindset and how you are being in any moment. So you don't
Yeah.
have to be called a leader to be a leader. And I think it's great practices for personal and professional development for everyone to sort of adopt and notice. And a lot of the qualities that Samantha shared just now are qualities that you would want to adopt that mindset, to have more of that be. And yeah, the learning part of it, Georgia and Sam,
Mm-hmm.
very much so. Like
Oh,
continuous
yeah.
learning is the name of the game.
Oh,
And
yes.
yes, if you're doing something over and over, if you're doing the same thing
Mhm.
every day, I like that, Sam.
Yes.
If you're not
You're not
learning,
learning.
you're
You're
not
not
growing.
learning. Not growing. You're
The
not.
You're
world
gonna
that
be
we're living
bored.
in requires us to learn every day. It's
Yes.
changing. I know
Yes.
it's right now as we speak, somebody is coming up with something new,
Yes.
right? Uh,
Yes.
so you need to shift. You need to be curious. You need to learn as
Yeah,
well. It's not I did it and I'm done, and so here I am in the work environment, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Learning
And
process.
yeah, and then what happens is we get bored and then we want to blame everybody else because, why aren't we, but we're
Yes.
not putting ourselves out there to try something new and to push beyond to another level. Because I like to do the level up. I'm like, we always on like a game. we're always
Thank
at
you.
this level,
One,
and what we're
one
gonna
more
do to
level.
level up. Yeah,
Yeah.
the next level, and then the next. There's always something more to learn, and there's
Mhm.
more to understand, and yeah, if we see the world like that, we certainly have a lot more excitement and fun. So, Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom this
Yes.
morning with
Thank you
us.
for having me. It was such a pleasure. Happy to
Yes,
be here.
it's been great. Um, Georgia,
Thanks,
with
everyone. And those who know me well, I say the day you didn't learn is the day you didn't live. Samantha, you just spoke about that. Thank you
yes,
so much, everyone, for watching. Samantha, it was a delight.
yes.
Thank you.
Have
Take
a
care.
great day.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.